This is a follow-up video of the book I use and how I find out the measurements of the torsion spring. This is the book I use, the Horolovar 400-day anniversary clock repair guide. I use these springs because they're supposedly temperature compensating, but not really. They just don't get affected by temperature change more than what an old-fashioned one does, or one from another company. If you have a torsion spring on a clock that's got a very slight brassy sort of tinge to it, then you know it's not a Horolovar. It's probably an original, because that's the colour they were back in the old days. But what I do, I look in the book and find out what plate number I have, and we'll take, if I can get it in picture, we'll take these as an example. This one's plate 1615. It tells you there it takes a 32 spring, and it tells you that it's a unit 1, but it doesn't always tell you that. If you take this one, which is a clock that I've just done with a disc pendulum, it says that takes a 004 spring, but there's no unit number underneath. Now JUF, quite a few of their clocks are 0035 and some are 0040, but some are in between. And if it's in between, you have to thin the spring, but I'll explain how I do that on another video. But this one doesn't have a unit number, so it's trial and error. What I do is put a 3/8 of an inch block of wood on the base, put the pendulum on it, put the top block on the spring and hang it on the clock, and then I just cut it very slightly above where the hanger is for the pendulum. And as for the fork, that's a bit trial and error. I put it 5, 6, 7 mil, depending on what clock and how I feel, and then adjust it up and down to suit. If the clock flutters, in other words it jumps more than one tooth at a time on the escape wheel, the fork is too low. If it won't run, 9 times out of 10 the fork is too high, or the fork tines are too tight. You need to be able to get a piece of paper between the tines and the pin when it's fully left or fully right. But anyway, back to the unit 1 on this one. So then I go further on in the book, and they do list a lot of the pendulums as well. And then you get to section 10, get it in the picture. There's unit 1. That is full size. So the bottom block, top block and fork. The bottom and top block, or the bottom and top block, the length is more or less always near as damn it right. But the fork can be different. You could have 2 clocks exactly the same, but the fork have a different position. So that is not the be all and end all. That's just a starting place. And as I said before, what I do is put the bottom block on, put it in the hole on the board, measure from there to that hole, and mark it on the board. Measure to there, the middle of the fork, not where the screw is, but the middle of the fork. You can either do there to there or there to there, doesn't matter which, but that's only your starting point. Again, I mark it on the board, and that's how I set the torsion spring up. There's plenty of other information in this book as well. tells you lots of silly little idiosyncrasies and when they changed different parts on some of the clocks. Not all of them, but some of them. Anyway, I hope that was helpful to people. Thank you very much.